I'm going to open the meeting call the meeting to order at 6:33 and welcome everyone to our Board of Selectmen's meeting held via Zoom in accordance with the Governor's executive orders. Our first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the regular meeting held on February 9th, 2021.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from February 9th, 2021.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next item is the audience of citizens. Are there any citizens here with something they'd like to speak to besides Jocko? No? Okay. Then I'll take this opportunity to bring everyone up to speed. We met today with director of the Connecticut River Area Health District and his right-hand person, Sherry Carlson. Down you go, buddy. And then we spoke a little bit about the new vaccine, the new schedule for vaccinations and eligibility for vaccinations. And just to get started so we don't get too far off track, that schedule is beginning on March 1st, people 55 to 64 will be eligible to sign up and register for vaccination. Beginning on March 22nd, people 45 to 54 will be eligible. Beginning on April 12th, people 35 to 44. And then on May 3rd, the last group of folks, people 16 to 34 will be eligible to register and get themselves vaccinated. The one thing that steps in, not quite in front of that, but beginning in the beginning of March, and the governor's directive is to have all of the teachers from daycare up to grade 12 vaccinated in the month of March. And that will begin. And what he did is he's asked the local health agencies like our health district to pause with the general population and focus on vaccinating our educators first. In speaking with Scott and Sherry today, they were confident that if they have enough shots, they will be able to do our schools plus Killingworth, Westbrook, and Essex elementaries in about 2 weeks. So that would be a short pause, but a pause nonetheless. For the
How do they plan on doing it? Going to the schools or the schools?
No. The teachers and the employees will have to drive down to down to where they're already set up. They've got a heck of a good system down there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And they're going to stick with that. So that's the news there. Scott was optimistic, and you know, we've already our little health district has already distributed over 6,000 shots.
Wow.
Since they began administering shots, which I think was December 28th. So really, in just 2 months, it's been over 6,000 shots have been administered just in our little health district, and that's fantastic. Every shot they've been given has been administered. That's really the news that I have, and I don't know if anyone has any questions or thoughts about that.
No, that's the only reason I asked is how they were doing it, because I know I listened to part of the news conference yesterday, and they talked about maybe in some districts going to the schools so that the teachers could be done there, and I didn't know what they were planning on doing in this area here. So
well, we are incredibly fortunate to have a health district that was really in front of this, that used their flu vaccinations as a training, really, to ensure that they were able to do this. A lot of not all the health districts around the state are set up the way that we are. And some are not giving shots yet. So you know, this is, for us, it's going to be a smooth transition. For other districts, it might not be quite so smooth. And that's going to be
great.
It's great for us.
Yep.
It's great for our state in general. My only concern is that the parent inequity that might show up, because we're the River Valley is done before the Quinnipiac River Valley, or where the more populated areas. But all we can do is our best, and that's all that, and help out however we can in other areas.
And they've had tremendous cooperation and help from the Old Saybrook Police Department too.
Yep, they have. So that's all I have for news. And unless anyone else does, we'll move to the next item on the agenda.
That's fine.
Okay, let's go to item number 4. It's tax refunds from the tax collector. Kate has asked that we approve a total of 5 refunds that total $8,795.72. Those refunds are mostly from overpayments this time. I think just because we just collected our payments now. So we can get a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion that we approve tax refunds in the amount of $8,795.72.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. No other business, unless there's any other business to come before this board. I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys.
Welcome, everyone. This is the regular meeting of the Deep River, regular February meeting of the Deep River Board of Finance. Now, Angus has made me, you have made me co-host, quite an honor, Angus. Now, can I bring up Laurie's minutes? Do you see Laurie's minutes in front of you?
Not yet.
No,
Not yet.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I need to share, don't I? Okay. And I share by. Uh-oh. All right. I told you there's buttons to be pushed.
if you want, I can bring it up. Oh, wait a minute. Here's somebody else. There's Russ. Okay, Russ is here.
How do I bring it up? I can have you bring it up, but
All right,
yes.
let me just bring it up. Nope, that's the wrong one.
I usually have a share button at the bottom. I'm afraid I'm going to disappear.
Hold on.
I'm here. I'm still here. Okay.
Okay. There it is. Let me just move it over so people can see it.
There's my share. Okay.
On the bottom.
I got it now. All right. Are you bringing up your minutes?
Yeah, can you, does everybody see it?
Oh, you can see it, huh?
Well, I just
Yeah.
put,
But Lori is sharing hers right now.
Okay, I do not see it. Oh, hold on. There you go. Let me check. The only reason I wanted to bring it up is if people wanted to see it. Honey Ann is not to bring, I do not see Honey. Oh, there it is, right
I'm
here.
Honey Ann.
You were, I must admit, I assumed that you were. And it's over
She's
here on the side.
behind the couch right now, but
And can I make it a little bit bigger? There's a couple things that I wanted to bring to our attention from those meetings. Can
okay,
you make it bigger?
I will certainly try. Size, yes, hold on. That might take up too much, but how's that? Okay. Angus, if you can see if anybody else looks to get admitted, I'm not going to be able to see them.
Yep, I'll watch.
Okay. So what would you
This is
want me to scroll?
discouraging. I do not see it. I wanted to bring to, damn it, why can't I see it? Does everybody see it on their, oh, there it is. Hold on. Full screen, side-by-side mode. There it is. Good. Okay. I wish to bring to people's attention. I think the minutes are fine. I wish to bring to your attention a couple things we talked about in January. For instance, let's go. Recommendation of Selectmen. Angus reviewed tax notes. And look, it says here that in January, Angus and I had received from the tax collector a statement that if you compare January tax collections with last year's tax collection, we are about 1.4 behind, okay? And we all thought that was good, and it is good. In a few moments, we're going to look at revenue collections, and we're going to see for the total year, that number is going to be higher, okay? So that is one thing I wanted to point out to you. Do not be disturbed that we're going in the wrong direction. We talked about the WPCA. I wish to bring the third paragraph where we discussed the Winthrop Fire Station. We had put into our budget the 4,500. We agreed in the last meeting that they could overexpend that. How did we phrase it? That they could additional expenditure. Did we actually authorize money in that line item? Or just authorized them to overexpend? Does anybody remember?
Just authorized to overexpend to complete the building siding.
Okay, all right, and that is grand. But the reason I asked is we will soon look at expenses and we will see that they spent the 4.5. We will not see the 3.5, nor will we see an additional appropriation. So with that,
my recollection of that was that we were going to take it from the town building line.
Excellent.
We would do
Perfect.
further appropriations if we needed to later on down the road.
Perfect. So it is therefore in our expenses correctly. Good. Okay.
I think so.
All right, grand. And if you note at the bottom there, we chatted briefly about the ethics committee, and I asked Angus to give us an update on that. So with that, hopefully useful review, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from our January meeting?
So moved.
So moved. I got a
Second.
first, second.
Second.
All those in favor of accepting the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. Good. The second item on our agenda is correspondence. Laurie, has anyone written to us?
No, no one at all has responded to the invitation to attend any of the workshops other than the school, which was arranged a long time ago.
Good. I'm going to say good. Well, I'll tell you what,
Good and bad.
let's deal with it now since Laurie has brought it up, and it could be an Angus or mine. There is part of me that is there's a large part of me that is uncomfortable with people not responding. Russell and I had a conversation the other day, actually today, and there's two interpretations I have. I'm just leading the conversation. Everyone can jump in. Should we interpret it positively? I like the positive, that folks are busy. Folks are convinced that we, the Board of Finance, are doing a good job and therefore do not feel that they want to take time away from their busy COVID hibernation not to come see us. The second is, and Russell can encourage me to put more or less behind this, are people discouraged? Have we not treated people that have come to us asking to look at their needs? Have we treated them respectfully where they are now possibly saying, what's the purpose of coming to see those guys? They're not going to listen and give me what I want. Does everyone have any thought, or do you have some thoughts in the middle?
I'll jump in on that I think we've been courteous to everybody. I don't think we've offended anybody, but we might not have given them what they wanted.
And that is my thought also, but again, I raise it because I'm wondering if you and Bill, you and I are entering the conversation a tad biased, protecting ourselves. But if the first is true, or the first or second, that people do not think we listen to them, I have nothing to say that how to address that. So,
are you voicing that concern because you've heard that people are feeling we're not listening to them? Or is it?
I'm going to
Just
say no. No, I am not. I am just attempting to come up with
You haven't heard
potential
any of that talk in town?
explanations. And no, I have not heard. Others can speak, but it is a potential valid explanation. No, and I'm not sure that people would stop me in the supermarket and say, I'm not coming to see you because you guys don't listen to me. And I do not know. So
I'd like to say that we do listen to people. I like it when people come in and tell us what their programs are like, and how they're doing and what their challenges are and what their hopes are. Every year is difficult from a financial point of view, and the last couple years have been extremely unsettled. COVID adding into that certainly. So from what Bill said, we listen a lot, but sometimes we have to say no because we just can't. We'd love to say yes to everybody. We'd like to do all kinds of things, but it doesn't mean people shouldn't come in and visit us and tell us about what's going on.
You're not going to get it if you don't ask.
Right.
Correct. Now,
That's right.
now I'd like to encourage Angus to come in because Angus is talking to the same people or attempting to talk to the same people. Is he hearing any resistance or is he getting the same response?
No, I have not heard any resistance whatsoever. I will tell you that 2 folks that I have spoken with and possibly a third will be coming in to talk with you. Tom Kilo, our resident trooper, is going to want to come in and speak with you about the police budget. He and I have been talking quite a bit about what we're thinking about, how we're going to move forward, and we'd like to come in and speak to all of you about that. And I think it'd be appropriate for him to come in and explain a little bit. Tri-Town Youth Services will definitely be coming in. I just had a meeting with them yesterday. Allison has gotten a little bit of pressure from Chester to try and find some equity in the amount that each town is contributing. Right now, there's no formula, there's no nothing that determines how much each town is going to give. It's just been what they request and pay it. Other than Deep River has often, and gosh, when I first moved to town 16 years ago, the first board I got involved in was Tri-Town Youth Services, and I was the representative coming to the Deep River Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance workshops to try to ask for more money. We have not increased what we've given them for quite a long time in all of those 16 years. And while
Also
we
give
do,
them a building.
we provide the building, that's right, and I'm looking into how much that is actually should be valued at, because that has not changed over the last 15 years either. That's been the same $15,000 for at least 15 years. So she's got quite a sizable increase requested, and she's going to come in and explain her programs and some of the demands the state and the federal government has put on that organization. So I expect that they're going to come in too. I'm surprised that she hasn't reached out to you, but I will connect the 2 of you this week.
Okay.
Laurie, did you invite Tri-Town? I don't think that is a traditional participant in our meetings.
No, the Tri-Town wasn't. The ones that I couldn't get a hold of were ethics, police. I know I sent you a note on it, and off the top of my head, I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, well, ethics will definitely be here. I'm not sure
Yeah.
that we're going to, we're doing some research. Nobody knows how much they're going to cost for their attorney's fees for this first year. So we're reaching out to other communities that have those commissions and asking them what they spent on their first year, what they spend after they've become established.
Okay.
We'll try to use that from that. My hope is that there's only a few months left in this year, and that any legal fees that they might encounter we can cover with the Selectmen's legal line right now that we have in place right now.
I did not mean that we would get in, well, my question were to follow to Laurie, was not meant to, we should begin to talk about workshop stuff. We will have long hours to work on workshop stuff. It was just the question.
That's
no
another
one's
group.
Responded. Yeah.
That's another group that will come in front of us. So there's 3 that will be here. They just haven't been connected.
And I assume the firemen will come in at either your request or we will, it seems to me they would be motivated to come see us.
I'm sure that they were part of your invitation, weren't they?
Yeah, Tim and Scott both received the invitation.
Well, Scott has resigned and we have a new chairman, but
Okay, well,
That's okay.
I don't
Really?
need
Okay.
Tim. But Tim did also receive it. He hasn't reached reached out to me either.
I'll reach out to them too. We'll schedule them.
Okay, April 6th is the only day. The police I was going to give, well, we can talk time-wise later on, but
Okay,
April 6th is already taken with the school.
okay.
And then
So
the other
now,
discussion
so
concerning,
I'm going to let Laurie's alert that no one is responding. I'm just going to let it sit. Angus will invite people in as they present budgets and demonstrate an interest. And
Mhm.
as time moves on, we'll find. But there's part of me that, I don't know if this goes back to Bill's point. There's part of me, if people don't want to come to see us, people don't want to come to see us. I do not know what to do. Although I do like Russell's thought. I do like people telling us what they do. I think that helps us out. So
I'm surprised the library, you never heard from the library?
Nope.
You're sure that you got an
That's
invitation to
Sue.
Susan?
yep, I sent it to Sue. Same email address that we went through last year. So,
Well, the only increase there was their request, but we'll talk about that.
Mm.
And here's my suggestion. The little I know about, they are still interested in an assistant librarian. So I bet you they will come and see us with a little encouragement. So, all right. Again, I'm not going to put a lot of worry into, I hope, and Laurie, you should not take it personal. People will come to see
I've
us.
had other things on my mind. The other thing was the hearing date. The school board, elementary school is coming before us on April 6th. And I know previously we had discussed the date of the hearing. I'm just going to put it out here now so that the public can hear that that date is probably going to change and not be the first Tuesday of the month of May, but another day very close to that time frame.
Mhm.
So possibly the week before. Just
Oh, the week before, you're accelerating it forward.
a
Okay,
little bit.
all right.
We can't go the other direction.
Can't
Yeah.
go the other direction. It's by statute in town or whatever we call it, resolutions. Okay, all good. All right, we shall chat. And again, we'll have lots of time to talk about these things. So, all right. So there is correspondence, which we've incorporated some other concepts in correspondence. Tommy, it's your turn. Can you tell us how much money we have?
All right, hold on. Let me bring that up for
I
everyone.
have it, but for some reason I can't bring things up.
All right, well, hold on. I can.
No, can you see it? I
Well,
can see
I
it.
can
Okay.
bring it up and share it if you'll give me a second to share the screen again and then get back to. Come on, share. There we go. All right, hold on.
Hey, Bud, I think you just got muted. You might want to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
There you
All
go.
right, all right, there you are. Tommy, it's all yours.
Tom is muted as well.
Tom is muted as well.
Let me just see if I
Well,
can.
as well, I'm unmuted. Tom's chatting away over there.
Okay, hold on. Let me just hit act mute. Tom. Okay, there you go.
Okay,
There you go.
okay, great. Okay, thanks. So if we look under the general fund accounts, there's a couple of things that have occurred. If you look under the second general fund, Liberty Bank General Fund, I did an internal transfer within Liberty. I transferred $100,000 of that and put it into our municipal sweep money market account. So it's not sitting there getting no interest. Now it'll get 20 basis points in interest. The other thing, I don't know if anyone read in the paper today that People's United Bank has actually been bought by M&T Banking Corp out of Buffalo. So for $7.6 billion. So we did have that. We used to deal with Farmington, and then they actually were merged into People's United. So having said that, I emailed a letter. Oh, my dog's going crazy here. I emailed a letter to Mike Kegler. He's a vice president of government banking at People's United, and asked him to close that account. And when I do receive that check, it's either going to go into our general fund or into that Liberty Bank money market sweep account. So we can get interest on a little bit higher interest on that anyway. So that account will be closed. if we look a little bit further down, there was one mistake under the town clerk checking, that number is 6576 should be Liberty Bank.
Okay, I was wondering.
And just on the bottom, on the incubator building, the rental income for the first account there, rental income account, that's a dormant account now, is informed by Liberty Bank. So Kathy's going to make $1 deposit, so it's no longer be dormant.
Okay,
Couple things too. If you look at our general fund balance right now, it's total balance 7,152,000 plus. Last month it was at 6,275,000 plus. So we've increased that from last month, $876,000 plus. I did make 2 wire transfers this month. Actually went from Citizens Bank General Fund to the Liberty Bank Municipal Sweep Money Market Account. One on January 25th for $1 million, and then one on February 5th for $1,850,000. So those two total $2,850,000. If you look at our total balances on the bottom, we're at $8,251,741.06. That's about the highest I can remember actually for a monthly report. Last month we were at $6,275,856. So we've gained $1,975,000 over last month. And if you look at last year, we were at $7,901,785. So we've increased from last year. We're up $349,000, almost $350,000. I did speak to Melissa Hurd from Liberty Bank last month in government banking. On she had called me and we were contemplating reducing our rates, and I just reminded her that we actually have tremendous balances with them, and we moved a lot of accounts to Liberty Bank. So there was no rate decrease, and I noticed this month that they're the same rates as well. So she didn't change those. And if you look at, we did receive our education equalization grant monies. A quarter of the total came in at the end of January, January 29th, for $415,718. We'll get the second, actually it'll be the last one for this fiscal year. It'll come in at April 30th, and we'll receive 1/2 of that total. So that'll be around $831,436. But again, that won't come in until April 30th. And then the next one will be in the next fiscal year. Glad to say that the monies really didn't change. That state didn't reduce our ECS monies from last year. So that was great news. I think that's about it.
Tom, is there anything we can do with these 2 Liberty Bank accounts that are $160,000 and not earning any interest at all?
On which ones?
Liberty, the 2 rental incomes.
Incubators.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think we're allowed to. I'm not sure if we're allowed to get interest on those. It's just been sitting there. Just again that dormant account. That means it's probably been there a couple of years without any movement. Do you know, Angus, on that one? To tell you the truth, I always was under the understanding that we weren't supposed to get interest on.
No, we are not supposed to get any interest on those at all.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why they're just sitting there the way they are. But that's it.
Okay.
All right. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Good. Selectman Angus, Selectman Angus, it is your turn to take over. Do you have recommendations that you would like to put before us?
Sure, a couple of things. I'm not sure about recommendations. Well, one recommendation, and a couple of other just observations. First thing, I don't know if you all have noticed, but the governor's budget was released, and the legislature is going to be working on how, in fact, to put that in place. That budget left everything as it was. So right now, the governor is proposing that our revenues from the state will stay flat.
All right.
which is good. That's certainly much better than it has been over the past few years. We'll see. There's, depending on who you talk to and who you read, how they're going to pay for that. I don't know, but let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that that's what we end up with. And we'll see it. You know, as usual, hopefully we'll have a budget before we get done with our budget. So we'll know what that's going to be. But right now we have something to work with, and that's a positive thing. Let's see. The Deep River Elementary School, we were talking about them a little bit with the ECS money that's come in. We're about ready to receive a payment from them regarding the energy efficiency loan, their share of that loan. We should be expecting $26,000 from them shortly. So that'll go into our accounts. And the recommendation that I have for you has to come from the assessor's office and the tax collector's office. Last year, Robin, the assessor, moved over to a cloud-based server on the recommendation of the group that she works with, Vision Appraisal, I guess. She did not have a good experience with that. She lost service for extended periods 2 or 3 times over the course of the year. She's not happy with it. While everyone recommends it, certainly for the larger communities, that's the case. But she is asking to go back to a hard server in our office. The tax collector also needs a server, and they share that server usually. So they've gone out and gotten some proposals for a new server, and that comes to about $10,500. The interesting thing about that is, if you remember 3 years ago, we started a program to put aside $25,000 a year so that the assessor would have $100,000 for reval every year. That $100,000 was presented to us by me, presented to you with a broad brush. That really, the reval itself cost $90,000, and there was $10,000 in that reval for hardware or technical advances. We've received our bill from Vision Appraisal for the reval, which has been completed, and that in fact did come in at $90,000. So there is $10,000 left there. Over the course of those 3 years, or actually over the course of the last year when the reval was taking place, the assessor's office spent $2,500 on equipment for both of the existing computers to be able to keep up with the software. So that leaves $7,500 left in that reval account for this hardware. My recommendation is that we need $2,900, and my recommendation is that we use the remainder of the reval money and the tax collector's budget for in order to purchase that server. That server will that $10,000 will take about 2 years worth of the cost of what a cloud-based server would be, and if there's no ongoing service fees or anything like that, which there is on the server, on the cloud base. If we take that from the tax collector's budget, we will not exceed what the number that's budgeted, because she has not had an assistant for 4 or 5 months now. Actually, the only time she had an assistant this fiscal year was in January and July. And I'm not even sure that she had a January for more than a day or 2. So we're not going to exceed our budget in the tax collector's budget itself or our regular budget. So I think we can reconcile that at the end of the year, as we do with some of our other when we go over certain things. I'm happy to answer any questions regarding the server that I can answer, but both the tax collector and the assessor have asked that we do this as quickly as we can so that they can get set up to move over to that. Our tax collector is moving from Vision to whatever the other software is she is. So she's going to be using just one company, so that the town bills, town tax bills, and the WPCA tax bills will all be going through the same company, as opposed to one with one and the other with and the WPCA with Vision. So that's my recommendation to you, and let's have a conversation
About how much was that going to be again?
about it. I think it was 10,400.
Okay,
7,500 of which is remaining in the reval budget,
okay.
and 2,900 we can take. I suggest that we take it from the tax collectors. It's a shared server; they should both pay for it.
Did the selectmen vote on that, and that's what you want to do? All of
No, we
you?
did not. We did not vote on it. It's just something we talked about today.
Okay.
I'm going to compliment what Angus just said. If you remember, the revow is in capital, 100,000, whatever it is this year. I would suggest we just allow Angus and Robin to overexpend that capital line to get, what is it, the server?
Yep.
And while Angus is absolutely correct, the tax collector who will use it has expenses in her budget that will not be expended. So I think net, if you're tolerant of the lots of nets, we will not see any additional cash requirements to fund this expenditure. I'm resistant to blending expenses and a capital together, but we'll get to the same spot. Just let the capital expense reflect the payment for the server.
Right. And then that's, sorry, I did forget that part of it. And
Well, it is, the concept is there's no additional need for cash. It's just coming from different places. So,
yeah, and our auditor has in the past has gone along and actually recommended this type of funding.
and we've, as you remember, we always throws me off. We sort of tidy these things up after the budget.
Is I don't know if you know this or not, but that server would last us 2 years, 3 years.
Oh no, this server should last us at least through the next reval. I would assume it's going to last us. What does a computer last these days? If you get 5 years out of a computer, that's a good job.
Right.
Good point. Does anyone think we need to vote on this, or should the minutes just merely reflect we discussed it and we authorize the selectmen to continue to move forward on this expenditure? Does anybody want to vote?
Plus, there's no change in money. Why do we have to vote on anything?
Well, we're
10,000.
going to look
Yeah.
the other way when they overexpend their line item of about, what's the amount that you asked for, $4,000, something like that, Angus?
2,900.
900, okay.
But it's
So there
not
is-
if the money isn't there, the money is someplace else in the budget, so you'll just move it from one line to another line, it'll cover it, correct?
Right.
And it's,
You've captured the theme Angus is offering to you. I think you're going to see at the end of the year that capital line item is going to be overexpended from what we authorized. And you'll see the tax collector underspent. So there, at the bottom line of our budget, there'll be no difference, but
It's an even Steven,
Yeah.
essentially.
eventually, good, yes. So I'm suggesting we acknowledge it, put it in the minutes, and send Angus and Robin and Katie off to buy this.
I'm good with that.
All right.
works for me.
Makes sense.
Good, makes sense. I mean, we can certainly formally invite it and vote on it and get the same spot, but excellent. Okay, Angus, all yours. Take over on your updates.
The only other thing that I have to say is a good piece of, I don't want to get too optimistic and I don't want to get everyone too excited about that, but the reval did come in as with a positive. Looks like an increase of about 4%, 4% and change to our grand list. So that's going to be a positive thing and give us a bit of a cushion as we go into this budget season.
Good. If you're pausing, I'm going to ask you to comment with all the weather, the snow. Would you comment on highway and particularly sand and gravel, which we'll look at in a moment?
Sand and salt, when you look through this, you'll see that we're very close to our budget now. But we have not overexpended it yet. If we need to buy some more, we will. It's not going to affect us really, but our supply of salt has left the state. For whatever reason, down at the New London Pier, there's no longer any salt down there. There's really only one provider of salt now for the state. That's down in New Haven. If we need salt, that's where we'll have to go get it, but it's the same price. So, if we need another load, we will probably be overexpended on that, but we will also have the contingency line, which you'll see is overexpended now. And we talked about this the last couple of months. That's overexpended because of or as a result of Isaias, the tropical storm from this summer. FEMA we had a workshop this week. I expect that we'll have that FEMA application to replenish that fund submitted by the end of next week. And I think that if we can get that done that quickly, we'll get that money back and we'll have money in our contingency fund to cover any additional sand and salt that we might need.
All right, all good. Does anyone have any questions? I think when we go to the budget, I think there is adequate funds to cover the remainder of the cold weather. And we've got this contingency. So if Angus needs to run out in the middle of the night to buy salt, I believe our budget will allow him to do that unless anyone disagrees.
I don't think you have a choice.
Well, if he does, arguably, if he does not have a budget that allows it, he should not buy it without our approval. But I certainly think there is adequate funds there. So yes, good. All right.
Can I ask while we're on that subject?
Yes.
How we were talking about a sidewalk cleaner plow implement last month and the month before. Did that get purchased or is that?
It did. Russ, if you exercised a little bit of exercise and come down and walk our main street after a snowstorm, you'll see that they're doing it. It's a great machine and it does a nice job.
Yeah, they did a great job the other day when I drove off to work. The sidewalks looked fantastic.
Yep, they're doing a great job, and we're actually experimenting with salt. There's a brine mixture that seems to be more efficient. It costs the same, but it seems to be much more efficient. We experimented with a little bit of that down by the school, and it seemed to work pretty well. So we might do that instead of the salt, which will be easier on people that are walking their dogs and things like that. So.
Oh, okay. That is important. That's important. Only because Angus told me this, but Angus, would you share with that new machine how much distance it did and how long it took them to do it?
Well, with the light storms that we've had, not light in total amount of snow, but light snow that we've gotten, they've been doing sidewalks from, I don't want to say Windsor Avenue, but I think they get right on the sidewalk at Windsor Avenue. But from Kirtland Street all the way down to Church Street, both sides of Main Street, and then they're coming up Union, down Church Street, up Union, turning onto Elm Street, going across the street, across Main Street onto River Street, down to High Street, and then over to the elementary school. So, and that's taking them about an hour. Maybe a little bit, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. So,
I think that's rather impressive.
It
takes me longer than that to do my driveway. So yeah.
It's a great machine. It's fun to watch him. John, he drives down. He's got his windshield wipers going, a little heater, and it works pretty well.
Excellent. Good. All right. Angus, and could you just share where you are on the Small Cities Economic Development Grant and the fire truck? We are waiting for people to
We're waiting for both. We've been actually, John from upstairs and I are going to be calling the state tomorrow to ask why in the world we haven't heard back from them. We've been trying for the last month and a half or so to try to get that going. I would love to have those signs already installed. I can't think of a better way to send some of these messages out, especially with the changing vaccination rules and numbers than with something like that. But we have not gotten a response yet. So, and the fire department, I'm sure the fire department is still working on a cost, but we've not heard.
All right, there is silence. And you have already commented that you have talked about the ethics committee. They have met. They do not know what their budget needs are either in the next year or in the current year. And it's just a big black
We don't
hole of
know.
knowledge there.
Let me tell you what I suggested to them, and they don't know enough to say yay or nay to this as far as municipal commissions and their needs are going to be. But my hope is that they act thoughtfully, deliberately, and work towards what they're going to need. An attorney is really, in the beginning, they don't, I'm not sure they need an attorney to do some of the things they need to do to establish themselves as a commission. And my hope is that they are able to get through this fiscal year without having to ask for an appropriation for their budget. And we can just come into to add monies to our budget for next year, for the next fiscal year. If they do have some expenditures, my hope is that those expenditures are something that we can cover with the selectmen's legal fees account. So, we're going to have to play that by ear. We're going to see how active and how quickly they get working. I don't know. We just don't know. So we're trying to determine what other towns. I think I spoke about this earlier. Excuse me.
So excellent. It is. I'm going to suggest it will be interesting. They will come to us. I doubt during our budget season they will be particularly knowledgeable what their expenses are, and there's going to be a temptation on our part. I'll put all of us in this, to hold them to a standard to defend what they're asking for. I do not wish to be rude, but that does seem like a standard we should hold them to. But we shall see. We shall see. I don't wish to be uncooperative, but we should hold them to a standard. So, okay.
No, and I think we will. I think I'm doing some research on what other communities have spent in their establishing their commissions, and I anticipate that they're doing some of that as well. The way I figure this is that we will have our first year expenses will be higher than they will be as years go by. Without getting too political, I think this was created for a reason, and people anticipate. I anticipate that once they are established, that there will be some complaints that come forward. That's going to generate legal expenses.
Do they have a chairman yet?
Yes, they had their first meeting on Friday night, and they elected a
Do you
chairman.
know who that is?
Yes, it's Carol Flame. She seemed very nice, very thoughtful. And their vice chair is Luther Moen. It was a good meeting. I think that the commission themselves, they're all good people that are trying to help the community. I think that the folks that established the ordinance are the ones that will be coming in. They had disagreements, and that's really my feeling, is they had some disagreements with some of the government workings, and in their head decided that that was an ethical issue and not just a disagreement in how things should operate. So we'll see how it goes. But to get back on track, I anticipate that the first year's costs, just in establishing the commission and helping them write their bylaws and write their code, is going to be more than it will be in subsequent years. And that's why I want to ask the other communities to look into their budgets and see how much did they spend when they established their commission, and then how much did they spend as time went by.
Okay, all good. Does anyone has any comments? We'll move on. Angus, can you give us a update where you are with the external accountants on our audit?
Yes, we've submitted, all of the information has been submitted to them. I expect that now that they've got all of that, they'll be back to us in a week or two.
Sounds good. We have I cannot remember, do we have an obligation, which we have not met in this last couple of years, to file by March, right, with the state?
Yeah, we've requested an extension. We'll be done pretty quickly.
We requested an extension again this year?
Yeah.
We have in the past. All right.
We had to. It's supposed to be in January.
Oh, okay. Okay. We have not met our January obligation for a while, but okay. So that's just life. All right. That covers all of my notes. Angus, you are collecting budget related information. We are scheduled to meet next Tuesday for the first time. Do you think you have enough information for us to meet next Tuesday? Or do you wish to
I
take a
will,
pause?
if it's okay with you all, I think so, but I'd like to be able to tell you on Friday. I'll
All
give
right.
you a good notice, but I'd like to, if we have to put it off a week, I think we'll be okay with that too.
Okay, and that has happened several times in the past. So, okay, Friday, you will let us know whether we should join together. Now, I asked the question of all of you, and should we get together in person? Should we stay Zooming? Most people want to get together, but I wonder if March is just a little too early to join together. Anyone have any thoughts? I guess my proposal is we continue to Zoom in early March, and we will certainly let's plan on getting together in April. But does anyone have a counter thoughts? Do you wish to rush in and get? I said that with too much negativity.
Hey, a lot of
Should we get
enthusiasm
together?
there.
Yeah. Should we get together next week in town hall? What is the law of the land, Angus? Are we
Well,
supposed-
that's what I was going to pipe up and let you know. I would like very much to start with some in-person and some hybrid meetings in March. Our numbers got very good very quickly. We were one of 5 states that was not in the red a week ago, but we had a pretty good uptake. A couple of families got hit, and we had a pretty good rash of active cases back in town. I'd like to take another week and evaluate what happens in that following week. And I'm thinking that I will invite all of our commissions to start having in-person meetings, so long as they're able to provide Zoom as well. Sometime in March, probably. I'm looking at St. Patrick's Day now as the time to really start that.
All right. Any thoughts again? So I suggest we start Zooming next week, assuming we meet, and the week after, and we will revisit it from time to time. But I'm leaning towards a March Zoom and an April get together. But anyone have any thoughts? We'll revisit every week. You okay with that as a start?
Yeah, I'd like to meet in person, but I know this next 2 weeks are probably going to be out for me to be in person. So,
All
she's
good.
falling behind me. Sorry.
We shall get together as soon as we can, unless anyone has any thoughts. All right. Laurie, I do not seem to have the ability to share. Can you bring up the revenue?
Yep. Let me I had it just a second ago, and now I just.
I do not have sharing. Oh,
Hold on. I do, but I just have to. And I had it a moment ago, but hold on just a second. I have to get it out of full screen.
I got them all sitting here ready to go, but I don't have a share capability. Unless
No, I've got to figure out how to.
Oh, maybe I do. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. Maybe I do.
I don't know how to escape full screen again. Where did I go? All right, wait a minute. Exit full screen. That's why I couldn't do it. Okay, hold on just a second. I will get into.
No.
Just a sec.
All right, bring it up. I can't bring it up. Oh,
Oh no, I'm getting it for you.
good, thank you. All right, we'll start with revenues.
Yep. Well, I had them.
Thank you. Cool.
There. Oh, yeah. Okay,
Can you give us a bigger picture?
I will try. For some reason, that looks horrible. That's not what it looked like just a minute ago. Let me just get out of that. I'm gonna stop that share for just a moment. And let me see if I can make that better. That looks really crappy. Hold on a second. No, I don't want it too full. Done. See. Oh. No, that's still looking really. It's still looking pretty bad.
Mm.
Let me,
Can't bring mine up. I had it.
I have it up.
I see that, but I can't, it is, as you're pointing out, it's rather small.
Yeah. And it doesn't look the way it looked just a few minutes ago.
Well,
Oh, there you go, there you go. You got a zoom, you got a zoom capability. Isn't that it? Go with
Yeah,
your zoom.
it up. It's just not looking,
Oh, yeah, it's fuzzy.
it's fuzzy, yeah.
Fuzzy and small.
That's a technical term in accounting.
There you go. There you go. It's good.
Now, see, I'm only increasing this stuff over here. I'm not increasing the actual report.
Okay.
You know about anything on that one?
Just discouraging here. Enter full screen on the bottom. There you go. That worked, didn't? Oh, well, worked a little. You can't grab your screen. There's nothing there to grab. Huh?
No.
How about up there how about up in the left-hand corner? You've got an X and then you've got a box. Did you try that one? Try that one. See in your left-hand corner, your X to X out. No. On the expenses page. Will that work? Can you go all the way over? Oh, that's the left. Go to the right. Go to the right side. All the way over.
Wait a minute, I've got to get rid of,
Is that little box open? That's an X. So actually, can you hit the next one? Oh, there you go.
hold on, let
That-
We
me,
need a couple of computer savvy kids here.
yeah, something went wrong. Okay.
Download, good.
Yeah, no, something went wrong, it said, so.
Lori, if you email that to me and give me a minute, I should be able to share it.
Yeah, all right, hold on.
No, but not to my Deep River account. This is my,
Okay, hold on.
give you another email.
I think the trouble is opening anything from
That
an email
account,
on here is terrible.
Yeah, you need to save it to your computer and then go from there.
Exactly.
I saved mine, still can't open mine, so, okay.
Actually, Lori, what I would suggest, if you download that onto your computer,
that's what I'm looking to see if I can.
that's what I would do, and then open it from there. You have to open it before you can share it. So you download it. What I do is I download it to my desktop, open it,
Oh.
and then
you
once it's
downloaded
open,
it.
you can
See it
share.
right now?
Pardon?
Can you see it? Can you see it now?
No, all I see is your email.
Yeah.
Because I've got, all right, well, let me just stop the share then, hold on. And then let me find it again. All right, hold on. Bear with me a moment. On screen again. Let me just get back to my desktop. And I've got to move. Oh, there we go. You want revenues.
Yes.
There we go.
There you go.
That's better.
Yep.
Beautiful, great job.
Get rid of.
Can you make it any bigger? If not, we'll squint.
All right.
Is that the proper word? Squint? There you go. There you go. Oh, good. Okay.
Too much.
Much
There you
for
go.
what we've got available to us. All right, let's do the best we can here. I want you to remember the opening phrase when we looked at last month's minutes. We said that in January, revenues were running about 1.4% below the prior January. I wish to point, oh, I wish you've gone a little too high for me. I wish you to see that we are, there you go. We are 2.5% below where our budget. So we've got $378,000 of property tax revenues to come in, which I think is good. Right? I still am intrigued why we don't have tax relief, but nevertheless, if you look at property taxes in arrears, we budget 150. We have 111, almost 112. So we've got 36,000 to go. And one I was very concerned about, and look at interest we're collecting above budget. And if you look at, what's the next one? A motor vehicle supplement, we budgeted 110, we've got 101. I did not think that was coming in. So there's about 8,000. Now, while I cannot do this with any factual statement, I suggest revenues are coming in well. We seem to be collecting well, which we have been doing in quite some time. All right. Now, the next one I wish to bring to your attention is, I'll look at building permits, by the way, as we go past. We budgeted 50, we've collected $60,200 so far. We're over budget. That suggests, what does that suggest, Angus? That people are adding on to their houses here in the town of Deep River?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been very active. You know, a lot of folks are buying houses, and, you know, when you buy a house, maybe you make some improvements to it, or if you decided not to buy a house and move, you just
Put
want to
an
make an
addition on the
improvement.
side. That is exactly. If you look at conveyance tax, we budgeted 40 and 72,000 have come in. So that is the same story. There is activities, positive economic activities going on in the town of Deep River. All right.
Yep.
Let's see. As Tommy pointed out, there is, if you look down at educational grants, we still have 50, we have $831,000 still coming in, 50% of our revenues. And let's see, if we go further down, I'm squinting as I pointed out. So there is positive things I just said. We expect that educational funds to come in. Town roads have come in. If you look at, which do I look at? I'm squinting. If you look at, remember, we did the FEMA grant. We had the fire department applied for a grant. That 205 in our budget will not come in. If you go down further, you will see LOSIP. Angus, are we still enthusiastic that we will get that $31,000?
Oh, yeah, no, we'll get that. We're actually hoping that we can use that for some sidewalk work this spring.
Excellent. Okay, sounds good. And Laurie has asked the question of when the WPCA funds will come in of 20,000. They seem to, since I am on the board of the WPCA, they seem to wait for me to say, pay the town. So they have adequate funds to be able to pay that. So we can get that coming in soon. Laurie, can you go down a little bit further? Good. Okay. Oh, okay, fine. I lied. Would you go back up a little bit, Laurie? Let's tell the story which Angus has told already. Keep going a little bit higher there. The somewhere on here, we put into our budget, and there it is, the municipal energy upgrade, and we have Deep River Elementary School. Laurie is right there on that, okay? It is budgeted at $52,000 in our budget. I have no idea where 52, but since I am one of the final ayes, I think I need to take responsibility for some part of it. Angus has an agreement that they will pay us any day now, 26,000. Interesting, they'll pay us, and what we budgeted is double. Therefore, absent a miracle, our budget for revenues is, we know, is at least $26,000 too high. We know that it is too high from the 250. So we're a little high, and we're a little high in some places. Now, Laurie, if you will go back down, There is a grant, municipal grant of 104,000, which comes in like June 30th every year. So I suggest to you that the state is going to meet their obligation, which is about $1 million. There's a couple shortfalls that we're talking about, which I think is another 200. So if you look all the way at the bottom, which Laurie is skipping past, you will see in total revenue, we're $1.7 million short. $1 million, I think about 8 or 9 is coming in from the state. We have some comfort. So there is still some uncertainty on revenues, but I suggest it is less than $700,000 that we still are waiting for. So I think that is good. If anyone wishes to offer an alternative assumptions, I think revenues are coming in good and we should be happy.
Is there
Unless-
anything going on with the newsletter?
Yes, there is. Angus has spent quite, and I should let Angus therefore chat. I'd like to defer this to our budget conversations. Angus has done a lot of work on revenues and expenses, and we need to think about this as we go into the budget. Is that a good enough answer to say, I don't know where the 20,000 is coming in?
I think, oh shoot, what happened? Am I muted still?
No,
No.
you're fine.
Oh, good. Okay. I don't know. I just took over the whole screen on my computer. I would, newsletter. Yeah, I think the budget is really the time. Budget workshops is the time to talk about this. We haven't raised our rates in a long time. And we need to talk about what we want to do.
Actually, Angus, I think Laurie's exact question is, we budgeted 20, we have 0 income. Do we expect that to continue throughout the year?
No. We I don't know why Kathy hasn't sent out bills. We have our second newsletter of the year will be coming out any day now. So we should have, if you remember, sorry about that. I forgot that too. Our last issue of the newsletter was right before Christmas.
Yes.
And I think that this group we talked about, and maybe not, but I think we did. About,
You and I certainly talked about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
but
but
not charging the merchants because of the COVID this year for that issue, for the Christmas issue this year. So that's why we haven't seen the revenue. But this last issue, we actually raised our rates 25%. So we should, once those bills go out, we should start seeing some monies in there.
All right. Again, I think we're doing fine for revenues, but there's still some that I'm uncertain of, but a small number. Yes.
Quick question, Butter or Angus, on the taxes that are still behind. Are some of them part of the grace period we gave? Is the grace period still in effect?
Yes, I think so. I think that's the case.
And when does that end? April 1st?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so maybe some people are, using the extra month or so to pay their taxes.
Yep.
Yes.
I know one of our largest property owners, commercial property owners, did that in the last pay period, and they're doing the same thing this time.
Okay.
Again, I feel confident that those taxes are going to come in. We're not seeing any reduction in tax payments. So
I think
good.
we'll do okay.
I think
One
we'll
of
do
the
okay.
things, it's not a big amount of money, but one of the, we looked at building permits is way up, but if you look, planning and zoning permits is way down.
Yes.
So, people aren't developing their properties as much.
Oh, good distinction. Good. All right. Let's go to expenses, Laurie. if
bear with me
possible.
a second. Let me,
I don't know why I can't bring mine up. They're all sitting there ready to go, but.
all right, hold on, let me, there we go. Is that visible enough?
Not at all for me.
Not at all. I can't see a thing. Well, I can see it's there. It's in darkness.
2 little white dots.
Yeah.
I don't know how to, it's taken up my full screen.
Taking up your whole screen.
Yeah.
Did you share it or just click on it?
Yeah, because you are screen sharing
Yeah.
and it's my whole screen.
Yeah, they're just little squares on ours.
Yeah.
I've got those little squares on the side.
Yeah, well, that's what we see. We're seeing the little squares.
Can you?
Oh, for Pete's sake. All
look up
right.
one of
How,
those little ones?
mean, it's supposed to be, I don't know how to do that then, because I've got the full, that's it. All right.
Stop your share.
Yeah, I stopped it again. Hold on. Let me
That's what-
get out of that entirely. I've only got it open a couple times here. All right, go back to the email. Yep. All right, wait a minute. Let me just go back to you and then see if I can share it again this way.
Ah,
There
okay.
you go.
We're making great progress.
All right, I'm sorry it's not bigger, but
It's
That-
okay.
that's the biggest I can do. All right, let me just move you guys over here. Is that big? That's as big as I can get on this one, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will, I will use,
Make it up.
my squinting capabilities to do a brief guided tour. It is what do you think? It's the 8th month. So I'm going to use my shorthand to suggest that 66% of everything should be spent and 33 left. If we use that criteria and apply it to different line items, the selectmen budgets are fine. I guess there's a little pressure there on administrative assistance, but I think selectmen is fine. We have talked about elections often. There is a need to keep our eye on that number. We have lost a column, Laurie. My
Yeah, we lost the percentages. I was hoping that would be okay since I made everything else a little bit bigger. You want the percentages?
There you go. There you go. Since that is what I'm using to identify things to chat
Okay.
about. Yes. Elections. We will call upon the elections group as we do our town meetings, et cetera. So I assume that number will increase in the negative, but they are not substantial. Again, I believe there is enough dollars within our budget that we do not have to move anything from surplus to cover that. Town hall operations seem fine. I can't think of anything particularly interesting in there unless anyone else does. Town clerk.
No, never mind.
Town clerk, again, we take note of the assistant salary is lower than expected. However, we may get some relief. Has Amy hired anyone new yet?
No, she's not.
All right, so we may, that number may catch up with it. So I don't think anything's particularly concerning in town clerk.
About nope, I think I'm in the wrong department. I was gonna ask dog licensing, but it's not there. That's.
We'll get you, when we get further down, we'll talk about dog licensing, which is a once-a-year payment. Board of Finance, we seem to be doing okay. We're paying the auditors. Board of Assessment Appeals, I have nothing to say with the exception that they are getting busy now, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
There is the assessor. Remember, this is the assessor's expenses. We will look at her capital in a few moments, but I see nothing in the assessors. Tax collectors, we sort of made reference to. The tax collector seems to have ample dollars in the expenses, particularly along the line item of the salary of the assistant. And you see there's about $15,000 there. So this is the conceptual matching we are making to pick up the other side of the server. Going to special services, we seem fine in special services. Laurie, this is your dog catcher in here, is it not?
Yes, yes,
Deep River.
please. So that's a one-time?
That is a one-time payment.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
When we pay the town of Essex for the dog catcher and the dog pound. So excellent. All right. Let us go down. Planning and zoning. Planning and zoning is fine. Our Angus, anything to add to the budgeting we did for the consulting seems to be working even better than perfectly. I mean, we've only spent 50% of and they've been here half a year. I guess that's about
Yep.
right, isn't it?
Yep.
So, yeah, I guess it has worked perfectly. Building officials, fine. Inland wetlands intrigues me that he does not incur any bills, but we have 100% there. Insurance is paid on a timely basis. Employee benefits, we have used up the accruals that we did for people who retired, if you remember. Pension plan we pay once a year, so I'm going to suggest while it's low, and we've paid a couple people at the library for unemployment, so nothing new there while it's a little low. Keep on going. Now, Laurie, this one flip. Look at police. It's a little low, which we expected from supplies and training because we have a new, Angus, how many do we have? One new or two new?
Two.
Two. There you go. So we should.
Yeah,
not be
2 for this
surprised.
fiscal year, yeah.
Yes, good. All right, good. And they will come and chat with us. Yes, questions?
2 part-timers?
No, our total police force is 1 resident trooper and 3 part-time.
Okay, and
But
that's what.
Matt Ward started last fiscal year.
Right. Okay.
I wish you to look at, and I did not because of my squinting, pointed out to you, in revenues, we have collected 40,000, in excess of 40,000, not much, of from, we pay our police. Remember when they do special duty or something, we've collected 40,000, which is exactly the amount we budgeted, but we've only paid out, what's that number, about 26?
Yep.
So the theory that we had when we put the budget that we collect more than we pay seems to be holding here, and that's police. All right. Fire department seems to be okay. Their maintenance for their vehicles is surprisingly low. It's about 19,000. Angus, do you have any expectations they will have other maintenance problems we need to address?
If I could see that, I would budget for it. I don't think so. I don't know.
It seems like you would know if they have a tendency to spend early on these things, so we're fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave the fire department thinking that we are on budget, or they are on budget.
Thus far, I don't know. I think one of the trucks, I'm not sure if that bill is included in this or not.
Okay. Okay. They're generally pretty good at letting you pre-know before they go over their budget.
Yeah.
Unless they do magic with their budget, but we will keep that out. So, and there's the fire marshal, which is sort of not particularly interesting, with the exception he seems to be rather active. His salary and the salary of an assistant is higher than what we have seen in the past, but he's on budget. Okay. Communication, we're doing fine. Civil preparedness. Now, we talk about civil. Now, Laura, you had a question on civil preparedness, didn't you?
Yeah.
And this is where we are placing we are collecting dollars for COVID. We're placing them here. But Laurie, asked your question on civil preparedness.
Well, I see the COVID line. I thought the civil prep of 1,500 was a one-time for the year, and yet they're quite a bit over that.
After your question, I'm looking into that. I haven't gotten an answer for that question yet. So I don't know why that's over the 1,500, because we put that additional line in there for COVID-19 expenditures. So the rest of it should be where it is. But,
we were hitting that line for some early COVID expenses, if I remember as well.
yes, we were. Yep.
Okay. We will,
That'll
Angus is
get
meeting with.
reconciled. I'll have an answer for you. Yeah.
Okay, so that just needs to be cleaned up. That's what I figured. It just needed to be cleaned up so it was put in the proper
Yep.
account.
And you'll see that when we come to Park and Rec too. So.
Okay.
Yes. We've chatted about highway department. Their total budget seems to be okay. It looks below what I'm expecting, that 33%. That is because of the contingency. Soon that contingency will be replenished, if you're tolerant of that word.
Yep.
So, all right, keep her going down there, Laurie. Look at waste removal. The only one waste removal is, if you notice, what is it? Recycling fees. We have spent about 22% of our budget. We have, Angus put us on notice when we were preparing this budget that there was pressure on that line, and that pressure continues to be true, Angus. Will we
Yes,
exceed
it
that
does.
number?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so let us continue to.
Hey, bud, if you go back just a second to,
Yes,
I think you were on highway.
yes.
What the heck were you talking about?
Highway salt
No,
storms.
no.
Oh, yeah, if you look, the salt is extremely low, but we chatted about that. That's why I did not give it much time.
Oh, yeah, no, you talked about the contingency line of, being replenished.
Yes,
And my recollection of talking with our auditors was not so much that it's going to be replenished, but we may put another line
That's
underneath
correct.
there
that's correct.
that says, offset or whatever the terminology
That's
is.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes, we
So
talked
I don't
about
think that we're going
creating
to
a,
replenish that line, but we'll have another line that we're.
that is correct, which will, and will net revenues coming in with the expenses. Very
Right.
true. We talked about a contra account. Very good. Okay.
Contract. Good
Sanitation.
job.
Okay. I have, keep on going down there, Lori. Municipal library, they are low because we give them so much money front end. Nothing to add. Probate. Parks and Rec, we made reference a moment ago that we will look at Parks and Rec. If you remember, we have charted every month that we called upon some of these Park and Rec lines to put guards in front. I'm about to call them kids, but kids who were going to be counselors, we actually had them stationed in front of town hall. So they're still being paid out of these line items. And Angus will get together with Carol and straighten these out and get them in the right account, is our hope.
Right, because those were COVID related
Yep.
positions. I mean,
Yep.
they were,
They are, and we need to
they were
figure
COVID.
out the exact magnitude of those.
They are, FEMA did not agree that that was an expense that should have been, that they should pay for. But the state did, so we should be able to get that. We're not going to get 100%, but we'll get a good portion of
Buck is a buck.
The buck, well
it.
phrased.
Now, buck
Okay.
is 75 cents or so right now.
Well, still 75 cents.
It all
just
adds
better.
up.
All adds up, a penny here, a penny there.
Yeah.
Who was it? Million here, a million there. Eventually talking about real money. Political subdivisions, I have nothing to add. We've expended things and got a little bit left. Fountain Hill Cemetery is paid. The interest rates are paid. Redemption of debt, we're doing fine. Brings us to the school supervisory. School is a little bit below what I expected them, 40%, but not far. And the regional school is virtually right where my math says they're supposed to be. That brings us to our capital. And we just chatted because I had forgotten. The fire department spent their $4,500 for the Winthrop station. We're taking the difference out of the buildings. Fire department continues to buy, Angus, their breathing apparatus, I assume, or have we incurred any additional costs there?
I have not heard from them. They bought a portion of what they needed, and I believe there's more that they need, but they haven't purchased it yet.
That's my thought. And again, we told them to go spend these dollars. So
Yep.
here's their LoSiP money. We'll spend it when we get it. And I think that pretty much covers everything. Laurie, can you take me all the way to the bottom lines? All right. Now, watch this. I have no ability other than to guess at this. We have a budget of, is it 18? I'm squinting. 18 million expenses. We have spent 11.5 so far. If my math of about 33% should be left, that would mean we would have spent about 12 million too. Seems like we're spending a little bit slower than what we'd expect. We still got 6.5 to go. Again, anyone can draw any conclusions, but I think our expenses are in control, and I think revenues are coming in well. Expenses seem to be running a little bit below what we're expecting, but that could be just timing. I think we are fine for revenues and expenses.
I think so too. I think, don't forget, we've still got $2.5 million to go to Region 4, so.
Correct. Oh, yeah, but they got plenty up there, so yes. Okay. That ends the entertainment part of our meeting, folks. Does anyone have any old business, new business they would like to discuss? Hearing none, I'll ask for an adjournment and remind everyone we are currently planning on meeting next Tuesday via by way of Zoom. So say it now. What is it? Smoke them now or something? What is it they used to say in World War II? Smoke them now or something?
Smoke them if you got them.
Smoke them if you got them. Okay. Speak up if you got them. Absent that, we will chat next Tuesday. I'll
7 o'clock or 7:30.
7.
7. Thank you.
7
Yes.
o'clock. And then I'll need to get a password so I
The recording, so recording
Oh,
again. Now.
don't stop
Sorry
the
about that.
recording.
But yes, I'll get you whatever it is you need. I don't think it's another password. I think we're going to actually have to establish another account.
Okay,
We can't
However
run
you
two
want.
meetings on the same account.
yeah. Yeah, because there are going to be Tuesdays
Yeah.
that you're going to
Yeah,
still
if
be
I,
in.
every other week, if we've got a selectmen's meeting that runs over,
Right,
that'll interfere with you guys. So.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. I need a motion to adjourn. Do I have one?
So moved.
moved.
in stereo.
Little too much enthusiasm there, folks. Okay, I have somewhere in there we got a first and a second. Laurie, if you
I
caught
got
them,
them, yeah.
all in favor, say aye. All right.
Bye.
Aye.
We will see you next.